This is Dr. Sean Marie Higgins for another episode of Spirit Call Out. This is where I call out spirits who have come to me to reach their living in body loved ones, which is sort of the opposite of what most mediums do, which is they have living in body people coming to reach their crossed over loved ones in spirit form. So I do both. However, since the emergence of more spirit wanting to reach their living in body loved ones, I've created this podcast called Spirit Call Out to serve and to help connect and be that bridge between spirit and human, and to also take the scary out of spirit. All of these entities are coming forward out of love, reassurance, and devotion to their living loved ones who are still in living body in order to let them know they are here, they are part of your life, they're not missing anything in your life, and they see you, they hear you, they love you. That's the message, the overriding message of all spirit that comes through. And then I will translate any other information that's more specific, such as the case in this episode where a gentleman came through and I saw a couple of different entities in this spiritual encounter, I would say. And I say encounter, or I could call it a spiritual occurrence, because I'm actually interdimensionally drawn into a vibrational world where there may be more than one spiritual entity speaking. But this main spirit contacting me on February 11th, 2025, the date that I had the contact may have some significance to you. The first thing that came through was this older man, kind of a stocky guy, either bald or balding, and he was wearing a suit. He said he was convicted. The name Timothy came forward, and I asked him what he was in prison for, and then I heard and saw the word murder. It was not him, or it might have been him, who answered me. But in the spirit world, it's not as literal as it is in the physical world, talking with spoken language between living human to living human. I saw the word murder. I also saw very quickly a younger boy with dirty blonde or blonde, wispy hair, a young boy, kind of teenager, early 20s. Perhaps this was a living relative for who the message is for, although there are other people that this message is for, as you will find out as I continue here. So this gentleman came through. He was bald or balding, felt like he was in his 50s or early 60s age, and convicted of murder. Then I heard chatter and talking almost as if I was in a prison, someone talking about the inmates. And this is information that let me know for sure that this person was actually in prison, an inmate, when he passed away. I heard the word inmates being mumbled amongst the chatter of other beings that were in the scenario. Then, interestingly enough, I saw piano keys. So perhaps this man played piano, and then he said the phrase key to your heart, like the musical key to someone's heart. Now, this might have been an inside joke that would be validating for the living in body loved ones to confirm that this is really their spirit loved one, an inside joke that only you would know. No one else would know this. So this is a sentiment brought forward to talk to someone or reach someone who was the key to this man's heart, a musical key. And I am getting that it's an inside joke kind of thing. And now I'm feeling he's wearing a baby blue suit. That was kind of another identifying kind of funny thing, is that maybe once he had worn a baby blue suit for an occasion, and it was a silly, fun, memorable sort of thing, which would bring forward yet another identifying factor to the family to which he's trying to reach. He's indicating that he was wrongly convicted. I'm not shown visually how he died at this time. He says something about a headstone. He says headstone. He shows me a headstone. Something may have been put on the headstone that he appreciates, that is honoring him, and he wants to acknowledge what was put on his headstone. And during the communication, I felt my head and neck being forcefully, but mildly forcefully, turned to my left and looking down. Even when I was trying to look back up and straight, I felt that force encouraging my head and neck to look to the left and down. So I then did an intention and an affirmation to clear myself because I don't necessarily like my body taken over by spirit. So I did a cleansing and clearing, and I immediately felt the sharp sensation at the very top of my head. It was not painful, it was more of a sharp tickle, but it was very deliberate. And I felt that either the gentleman was leaving my body through that area, or this was how he actually passed away. He was hit on the head that forced his head and neck to the left. So he must have been hit from the right to the top of the head, forced his head and neck to the left, and that was how he died. Now, a lesson here in mediumship, because I do classes on mediumship, and with my spirit callouts, I always learn something new. And what I learned today, or on February 11th, when I felt this information coming through, was that one who does physical mediumship, meaning they feel what the spirit's feeling as a form of communication that comes through. It's not the entire communication, but it's part of it. It doesn't have to be as intense or painful as it was to the spirit. Now, I've always sort of shut that part out because I do not want to feel pain. I do not want to feel sick, and I do not want to experience any emotional trauma or negativity in my body, because even angry or disappointed or sad emotions can start the release of those neurotransmitters in my brain, which then lead to not very healthy chemical cascades of cellular effect and behavior through my body. I do not want to feel negative sensations and thoughts through and emotions through my body. So I was always hesitant to actually go to that place of the physical mediumship. And almost all of what I get is literally visual, literally hearing and telepathy. However, what I was feeling during this episode was that I could still feel what was happening to the spirit without giving up control of how I felt it. So let us know this as mediums, that we can put a boundary up to blunt the sensation so that we are only feeling it enough to get the information that's necessary, but we do not have to feel it enough to validate that spirit's pain. That is not our pain to validate, but we can know about it and relay it, but it doesn't have to be painful for us too. That doesn't have to be transferred. What the important transfer is the knowing of what happened to this individual to cause his death. And that was it. That's what he was trying to relay. And so I was able to feel that. And I did cleanse and clear myself a few different times just to make sure that I wasn't being fully immersed physically into this experience, which is a boundary that I have for spirit because I'm very open and I will feel a lot if I don't create very firm boundaries about what it is that I will and will not experience and how I will and will not experience them. So this was a good lesson for me to know that I could back off. So, just to recap, the things that stood out to me were the baby blue suit as an identifying kind of silly memory that may have been shared with the living loved ones. The musical key to my heart, you're the key to my heart. And the piano was very memorable in identifying who this person is. And younger man or older teenage boy with wispy, dirty blonde hair who may be a relative, a son, a nephew, or something like that. And also, I feel the key to my heart was going out to a woman, maybe to his lover, his wife, his partner, or maybe even someone else. But I felt that information was going out to a female living in body. So I believe that sums up this spirit call out. And all of these call outs, I do get more information if I revisit them again. However, I don't do that another time unless I'm contacted by the family through my website or email after the spirit call out. So thank you very much for listening to this, and stay tuned for the next spirit call out, which is coming very soon.